Hello, hello. Morning coffee. Probably cup 2 or 3, who knows? It's what I live off of these days. Resilience. What does resilience actually mean? I've been talking about it a lot, and yeah, it's a word that at the moment of being resilient, nobody likes having to be resilient. Resilience is the middle spot from point A to point B. I don't know if the camera's mirroring, I don't know how that's going to look, but it's like anytime you're on a new journey, or if you have goals and things, you're always going to have this point where you're here, but your goal is over here. So you don't, like, let's say you're learning a new skill. You don't know the new skill yet. Learning the new skill's over here. And you're here where you don't know anything. And all through here, that's where the resilience happens. That's where you have to learn. That's where you have to grow. That's where you might, that's the interim. And that's where it sucks the most, because you're not where you want to be. And you have to be able to experience the learning part. And if you're learning something fun like skydiving, then maybe that learning process is kind of fun for you. But if you're learning how to increase your skill set to increase your salary so that you can provide for a human being that you're responsible for, while maintaining your sanity with no time for yourself and no resources, there's time. What do you do when self-care doesn't work? What do you do when you've done all the self-care things and it's still not enough? It's where the deeper programming really shows, the deeper epigenetics of your environment, of how you were raised, generational information that has been passed down through your DNA of struggle and hardship. And it's really hard to deprogram all of that, especially if you're trying to become a better person. Any little source of darkness that's in your soul that hasn't been shone light on yet, it's going to come up, because that's part of expansion. And my soul's great at expanding. It wants to expand. I have big dreams and big hopes, and I chose to have my last child. I don't really know how that happens. I can tell you how that happened. My brain was not sober. But he's great. He's my best friend, and even though it takes all my brain power to try and keep that person going. See, this just sounds bad. All this sounds negative. It sounds bad. It's not what I want to try and do. I'm great at self-sabotaging. I am really good at being disciplined and not having excuses, but I have found that when I'm in that state, I have to have a high ego. I'm not, even as humble as I try to be, it's like you have to have a little bit of an ego, because someone's always trying to tell you it's not okay for you to be the best. It's not okay for you to get better. And expansion can feel yucky sometimes and scary. And expansion's even heartbreaking, because every time you level up, you have to let something else go. And letting those things go is letting go of your previous goals, your previous achievements. And that's the evolution, the cyclical nature of life. It's letting go and rebuilding. I might voice the hard emotions frequently in my posts. But don't... I do. Because I have a lot of dark and negativity in me that I am trying to overcome. It is hard for me to have resilience when I see other people not work as hard and have more than me. It is hard to have resilience, to see that people that don't work as hard as me get to have more fun than me. And by more fun, that also means more connections, more experiences. And it's frustrating to me that as smart and intelligent as I am, I can't figure out how to get there. And that's where resilience comes in. Resilience is, you just can't give up. Even if there's the slightest chance that you're never going to make it to where you want to be, you can't just give up. But there's also a moment where you've tried so hard that you just give up. You're done trying. You've tried so hard. And I guess that's the moment that your faith takes over. Say, all my controlling hasn't mattered. All my planning hasn't mattered. The self-care, the affirmations, the visualizations, the trying to catch myself in the negative moments and flip it around, and the planning ahead, knowing certain things are going to make me sad, and planning ahead to be like, okay, I need to like pack snacks and make sure I'm going to be happy. And it's just not enough to fight those demons sometimes. And then that's when you give up and give it to faith and the higher power. Because sometimes there's just demons that I don't know what to do with. And I'm told the higher power does. I'm told the higher power knows our plan better than we do. Higher power. I'm saying higher power. His name's God. For a while it felt weird saying God because it brought up religious connotation. Yet through all many people's intuitive channelings, whatever the higher power or source is, it wants to be called God. So why would we disrespect it by not calling it what it wants to be called? I want to be called Deb. Please call me Deb. Higher source wants to be called God. God is responsible for our plans. There's a lot I don't understand about this planet, this dimension, this video game, whatever it is. I know it's more malleable than we think, which also makes me frustrated that I can't manipulate it the way or as quickly as I desire to manipulate it. But it is manipulatable, no doubt about that. I have manipulated it, and I'm just going to keep learning, keep having that resilience. I think the biggest thing with being so good at everything is not knowing where to put your focus. I am that awesome that I don't know what to focus on. It's not that I don't know what to focus on. I am tired of failing. I'm tired of putting my focus in things that, and I'm not going to say waste time, but like when you're raising a child, time is wasted. They're only a child once. You only get to raise them once. 2019, I was crying and begging to God to help us get a house, a place that wasn't a dungeon, a place. At the time we didn't have windows, there were alcoholics and people pulling guns on each other in the space above us. We were in a basement, and like there were no lights, it was ants infested, the garbage was like, it wasn't kept, and it was just gross and bad energy. And I begged so hard and tried so hard. I worked so many jobs to become debt free, to get into a place, and here we are 6 years later, still struggling. 6 years. He went from preteen to almost an adult, and I am still trying to feel comfortable being able to support him. I still cannot provide vacations. I still cannot provide birthdays. I still cannot provide clothing. I still cannot provide the better schooling. Like, if you're not learning the lessons fast enough, it is a waste of time when other growing humans are involved. People come along your path, and if you're not where you want to be able to enjoy life with them in the way you want to enjoy life with them, then they move on. And there's, again, it mattered. Like, it's really hard having the resilience to stay faithful in the journey when the journey keeps not working out how you plan it to be. How do you continue to have self-trust when the journey keeps falling short? That's resilience. Is it good? No. Does it help me? Like, you would think having so much resilience would mean success. I hope eventually that's what it means. I'm going to keep preaching that's what it means. I guess I just keep failing until, you're either failing or succeeding, so I guess just keep going. And then at this point I feel like I'm flipping a coin. Doesn't matter what I do. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. And having a smile through that, maybe that's what resilience is. I guess that's it. Cheers.